Gensel on the right. He's got Shane Gensel.
Hundley holds, steps up. Hundley sacks T.J. Watt. NFL history. Watt has tied Michael Strahan's single-season record. Oh, no.
In the air to right. This is deep. And he did it again. Jack Sawinski wins it for the Pirates. 3 home runs in a game.
Welcome to another live Pittsburgh Sports Line in the BPTV studios. Somebody said, why do you say where it's at? I don't have to. Everybody in Bethel Park knows. But we got other states watching us thanks to Guns. And we got fans all over the country, just so you know. And you can like our Facebook page. And don't like me personally. I got locked out because somebody hacked my account, put porno and bad language on there. So I'm restricted now for 29 days. Somehow I'm innocent, like all the criminals say, but I'm still restricted on what I can do in post. Go figure that out. I need to go to the hood with Smoking Jim Frazier. No disclaimer on me. I'm telling the truth. That's what I need. And we got a lot of sports for you, but thanks for watching us on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park and all the way from Nemacolin, Cranberry, Wexford, and all points in between, greater Pittsburgh area. We appreciate you. And we got some people watching. Jim Ellenbogen's watching, Frank Mana's watching, and Marco Rody is watching. Marco, we miss you. I miss you personally. He's great on the camera in the control room.
That's my boy.
He set records at 16 years old. He set a record doing good jobs. Smoking Jim pumps you up all the time, but he doesn't really know what you do. It's great. All right. We got some promos here. And on Facebook, we appreciate the likes. And we're at 6,900 or something likes, so we appreciate you. And we got a live show on Pittsburgh Sportsline channel. If you haven't liked the channel, Nick, the VIP Callis, created it. This is our 808th show. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying 11 years, if you stay in the game like LeBron, you start setting records. So, again, I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. We got Smoking Jim Frazier. We got Jim Guns Ellenbogen. We got Steve, no middle name, Wirt. And we got Nick, VIP, in the control room teaching a new volunteer, Rowan, who came in. His mother dropped him off, and we're taking care of the poor guy. So here we go. We got our promos, and we got a oldie but goodie here named Ryan.
That's
and
my boy right there.
let's see what he can do. Ralph Williams said, hello, guys.
Hey, Ralph.
All right, let's see what he does on this. I'm looking. Look at that bright shirt, Florida colors I got.
I know.
Just 'cause of
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Trevor Lawrence is my man.
Yeah.
I'll even jump the gun. 4 picks in the first half by a young man. And guess what? He didn't quit like most of these other young guys. He threw 4 touchdown passes, won the game. With help, of course. All right. Olive Oil's Pizzeria, Hillcrest Shopping Center, they sponsor our show with a pepperoni pizza and a steak hoagie. Give them a call, 412-831-1900.
Lawrence need to cut that hair.
Who?
Trevor Lawrence.
That's his personality.
He's sunshine.
Smoking Jim, anybody that wears a hat, no offense meant, but Smoking Jim knows what I'm talking about to him. Let's see what Ryan does on this one. He was great on that olive oils. Smoking, I'm on fire tonight.
Yes, sir.
What are you saying about people wearing hats?
My man, Steve.
Here's what I say.
Better living through chemistry?
That's why I took mine off, because he was looking at me funny.
I'm always suspicious. All right, let's see what we got. Go back to, there we go. We got Nick in the control room, and it's been a couple years since he's been in the control room because we boosted him up to be a co-host, and he has to help teach the young man that came in tonight. I end each show with Stay Joey Strong. Joey died at 8 years old with a DIPG brain cancer. It's now 9 years since he's died. Check out the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation on Facebook and online. Next up, Ryan, you're doing great. Here's another one, another 501c3. We'll see what this shows up. There's always a little pause, but look at that close up. The B stands for look at the happy handicapped child, Bennett. Always be smiling. His parents, Kristen and Dean, come up with a 501c3. Check him out on Facebook. He died at 16 and a half. He had 2 kidney transplants. He was handicapped, but he was always smiling and happy. Never had a bad day, and he was handicapped. So God bless him. All right, next up, another 501c3. Can Ryan do this again? This yellow will look good with my shirt now.
You always look good, you know that.
That's why Guns is here. The Bethel Park Historical Society Schoolhouse Arts and History Center. Look what Ryan did. That's great. And Smoking Jim, my fingernails, I trimmed and clipped them so they would look good on TV. Unlike you, you're putting Kleenexes and napkins to clean them out. 2600 South Park Road. They got a 1905 schoolhouse completely remodeled. They got Reginald's Coffee, best roasted coffee in the Pittsburgh area. Friends have told me, go there.
Maybe we get sponsored by a manicurist so you could have like nice.
Look, how do mine look? They're self-inflicted. All right, let's go with Ryan. Another one. He's hitting everything out of the park. Cheryl Keenan is watching. Amy said, Smoking Jim, I like your Pirates jersey, shirt, and your hat. The disclaimer
Thanks,
is
Amy.
he bought them out of the back of a van yesterday.
On Major Harris Boulevard.
See, I can't make this up.
Major Harris Boulevard.
All right, here we go. Let's see what Ryan did. Where's Nick in the control room? There we go. Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you. $100 to $5,000 for your group or organization in Bethel Park to make our community better. Go to bpcf.org, get an application. We meet every couple months. I'm a trustee on the board. I got to cut this short.
You were doing so well. Back up to 12.
Well, we had some interruptions.
It's your show.
I want you for BPTV. Dave Cable had a little fun at my expense. Put that back up, Nick. Have him hit the other button. There we go. That's my smiling face on there. Call 412-831, what is it, 3304. And you can be a volunteer like Michael Rohde, Marco's dad. You can be coming back like Ryan Thomas did. And he's down weight, he's looking lean and mean, and he still knows camera. And you can be right here with Steve filling in.
Yeah, as usual.
All right.
With Uncle Al.
Yes. He's everybody's pal. Then I need a close-up, Ryan. I had 36 years at the Post-Gazette. I negotiated 6 multi-million-dollar contracts from the age of 22. I left 12 years ago. So I support the unions. I interviewed one of my brother union members from my union, Mailers Local 22, CWA, PPMWS 14842. That's a mouthful. How do I know it if I didn't live it? And I was a 3rd-generation mailer. My grandfather worked all the papers. My dad worked all the papers for 50 years. And I'm a piker at 36 years. So imagine a family had over 120 years of working in unions, and I know they're only 6% of the country. I don't want to offend my business friends and all that, but if you're not paying and treating people to good benefits no matter what they cost and wages, you need a union. And my union's in serious trouble. The Post-Gazette's been held up by the Toledo Blade with their money, and they own the biggest cable station in Ohio, BCI. They've supported an anti-union busting law firm that hasn't met with my own union, and they're proposing things that make them pay for all their health care and wage cuts, let alone not even producing the paper like they should. But times are bad, times have changed, and I support the strikers, and God bless all the union brothers and sisters and their families.
What's piker mean?
What?
You said you're a piker. What does that mean?
Did I say piker?
That's what I
I ain't allowed to explain.
You can explain.
Okay.
A slacker,
I like to
guess.
learn. I like to learn.
Well, we try to hold that back. Okay.
Okay.
We got what's on your mind, Smoking Jim Frazier.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green, you got this. Took my eyes off the prize.
Here's another
You're
one.
Deontay
another
Johnson.
one.
Thanks, brother. Yeah. You keep throwing the ones with the ink out. That's why I was. Yeah,
My
there
son,
you go.
Drew, if you're watching, he tells me all the time, put it
I
back
got
in.
ink all over my black hands.
Well, all his girlfriends go, or all his sweeties, they go, Smoking Jim has the smoothest hands. I'm just saying.
Ain't bad for a union man.
Where?
Hey, Al Levine, the talking machine. I'd be remiss if we didn't say.
What does that mean?
I hope everybody enjoyed.
What does remiss mean?
I don't know, but I hope everybody enjoyed the Dr. Martin Luther King holiday because I have a dream. I have a dream that I wish the Steelers would have drafted that quarterback from San Francisco. We'd be still playing. Add that one to your list as great rookie quarterbacks. Al Levine, the talking machine, Purdy. He's
Guess
pretty
what?
good.
You know he's Mr. Irrelevant because he was the 262nd pick.
Yeah.
Even in your esteemed knowledge of drafts, you didn't have him on anywhere.
I didn't. So, that's a
So
surprise.
how about we have a good rookie quarterback that's Smoking
Great.
Jim?
Great rookie
Well,
quarterback.
we'll see what they do in the playoffs.
Well, they already won one. How
Well,
many
they're
more
not
they
done
gonna
with
win?
it. You got to win them all.
We're sitting at home. But, hey, Al Levine, the talking machine, I'm proud of the Pittsburgh Pirates for bringing back McCutchen. I'm the only one on the planet that predicted when he was the MVP of the league, when he was the best player in the league, and he cut off all his dreadlocks. I said his career's over. Everybody said I was superstitious, this, that. He went downhill after that. But I tell you what, he's only a few bats away from going past Al Oliver and Dave Parker. So congratulations to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Lastly, we got another black man out of work, Al Levine, the talking machine, and I predicted it. Last year, I was the only one to say that Byron Leftwich should have took the Jacksonville job. He got offered the head coaching job. He said that he wasn't going to go there unless they fire the general manager. He got a little uppity. They sent him back to Tampa Bay. I said it was a mistake, Al Levine, the talking machine. Now, after 1 year, I said Tampa Bay's offense was being run by Bruce Arians. Byron Leftwich showed that he couldn't handle the job. Now he'll never be nothing in the National Football League but a quarterback coach. He should have took that Jacksonville job and coached Trevor Lawrence. And that's what's on my mind.
Well, Smoking Jim, I got to give you credit. You're
Thank
always
you.
either a front runner or you're always throwing people under the bus. This is how simple he is. He's a great entertainer, but if you're looking for the facts, we'll find out later on what fiction and fact. Mario said thanks. Ralph said thanks. Johnny Mariano, who's sick tonight, can't come in. He's watching. He didn't want to get Smoking Jim sick because he's never hot or cold.
He ain't got no pulse either.
Frank Manna makes some good points all the time. He said Leftwich was graded an I by someone who covered Tampa. So does that mean Canada is a G? I think he's less than a G, but we shall see.
I like that.
All right, and it rhymed too.
Yeah, it did.
All right, thanks, Smoking Jim. We appreciate you. Amy likes your shoes that you got for $5.
Thank you, Amy.
All right, Guns, what's on your mind?
Well, since Jim brought up the Pirates, I think it's important to note the passing of the great Frank Thomas, who played for the Pirates between 1951 and '59, he was part of a trade, 3-time All-Star. What's interesting about that multi-trade, they traded to Cincinnati, which brought Smokey Burgess, Don Hoke, and Harvey Maddox.
Yeah.
And then in 1960, we won the World Series.
Wow.
Tell Smoke and Jim one story about Harvey Maddox.
Now I'm going to leave that to you.
That good.
Thank you, Guns.
Harvey
I
Maddox.
appreciate that. But yeah, you got to go with that.
Interesting about this Leftwich thing, because Leftwich is one of Tomlin's boys. So now that the old Detroit Lion head coach got the defensive job for the Cleveland Browns today, Flores ain't going over there. And a lot of the other teams really aren't looking at him right now. So Canada is on the line here. So everybody's wondering, you know, if they get rid of Canada, would they bring Leftwich up here?
Right.
You know, and you know, I always call Tomlin 007 because no matter what, he gets out of everything. You know, he may get to the point where he's like, well, you know what, I could throw Canada under the bus because I can bring Leftwich up here to do the same thing. But the Steelers need some work. I don't think it's all Canada's fault. I mean, this is what kills me about Pittsburghers. If you look at the mechanics of Kenny Pickett, who everybody loves him as a person, he falls in the bottom of the league in quarterbacks in terms of completions, in terms of ratings, in terms of everything. But because we love him, he gets a pass. So Pittsburghers give him a pass. They give the defense a pass. This all goes back to Tomlin. But yet, being James Bond, he always gets away.
Well, I think he has a license plate. I'd rather be lucky than good.
But he's got it so set up. Everybody's to blame but him.
Well, think about it.
I mean, look, when we grew up, the standard was winning championships and winning Super Bowls. He's convinced this city that, hey, I got a winning season, so we did good.
That's true.
Hold it, announcers are even talking about it. I heard many a game, they go, isn't it incredible that a coach for his first 16 years would not have a losing season, even though he had a couple 8-8s.
And it's interesting you said that. The media should be ashamed of themselves falling into this Kool-Aid drinking. But with a lot
but it tastes good.
But here's what's interesting. A lot of the old guard newscasters are gone, and a lot of these young guys are trying so hard with their god Twitter to not be disliked by
Thousands.
that they're trying to do what the crowd wants to get that going. So that's what's on my mind.
I wish
thank
we
you.
had Purdy.
Hold it. Dr. John Donatelli has a comment. Purdy ate some good, let me see here. He ate some good corn and some pork tenderloin sandwiches in Iowa.
Well,
We appreciate your input. It worked.
First of all, as a doctor, and Iowa got the best corn in the country. Everybody know that. Even I know that.
I thought that was Nebraska.
Well, that used to be.
Just like when they had
It migrated up.
Well,
Hey,
Nebraska
they ain't had
championship teams in college?
They haven't
Where'd
had
that go?
They haven't had good corn
went-
since
they-
Johnny Rogers left Nebraska.
They went out with Tom
That's
Osborne. He
perfect
kind of
when
took
they're
that all
winning
with him.
Yeah, yeah. All right, thank you for that, Guns. Steve, what's on your mind?
I just wanted to say that apparently the Pittsburgh Penguins are now in a losing streak of some port, and they did they did win last night, but I think what does Anaheim have, like 12 wins total? The Ducks. It was Duck season, so thank goodness for that. At what point?
No, it always helps, right?
Duck season, rabbit season. I'm not sure, but
Duck season.
yeah, definitely.
It's apropos. Look that up,
So
Smoke
like
and Jim.
what is gonna happen with Ron Hextall? Is Ron Hextall going to do anything? Is he just like collecting a paycheck? And is he going to trade someone and bring it? I mean,
he's
I realize the
collecting
goalie.
paychecks.
Well,
He's
I
collecting
mean,
them.
who am I to criticize somebody just for showing up and getting some money? I mean,
Right.
he's living the dream. I mean, it's like Cliff Kingsbury right now, who's in Thailand,
Whoa.
living it up with an Instagram model, making millions of dollars. So we all can't be those two
Hold it, I
guys.
got to interrupt you. When they talk about hiring coaches, what kind of resume do these guys have? And then they're amazed when they find out, like, Canada, that the resume isn't very good. Right?
So, well, you would think like maybe the Steelers could hire him, but I digress.
They can't get a hold of him.
Yeah, well, he's all the way in Thailand, so I don't know. Maybe he can get on the Instagram models' social media page.
Well, just tweet. Just put
yeah.
a tweet out there, and they'll get a hold
Well,
of him.
maybe the Penguins need to go to Thailand to find another goaltender because I think with what's his name, the starter hurt, definitely DeSmith probably is not cutting it. So they definitely need help there, and I don't know. I mean, you can't replace, I guess, the whole team in one fell swoop, but. They're heading for very mediocrity or the bottom of the league. They're heading to Detroit Red Wings here.
I got one question for you. When you're 22, you're invincible. When you're 35, what are you?
Well,
I leave that up to anybody.
In hockey, ready for the for the next phase.
We're lucky and blessed.
What did Chuck Noll say? Get on with your life's work there. Yeah.
Well, guess why he said it? Yeah. He was a smart man. No, we appreciate that, and
Well, that's what's on my mind. The Penguins need to do something. Either Ron Hextall and Sullivan have got to go, or they got to make some changes on the team because it's definitely not working out right now.
Understood. Thank you for what's on your mind. George Malherbe, worked with him 36 years at the Post-Gazette and Mailers Union 22. So thanks for watching us tonight. What's on my mind is you look at some of these games and teams and, you look at Tom Brady. Is this his last year? You look at Aaron Rodgers. Those are two of the greatest quarterbacks in our era and maybe in football. So I look at that and I'm like, after I saw Brady last night, I said, look at his offensive line. I played center. His center didn't play a game all year until yesterday. Now, how many of you can go back to work and be 100% after you're off almost 12 months?
Jim?
Smoking Jim.
Well, he doesn't work. There's a real simple.
Oh, wow.
There's a simple point to that.
So he never has to get back up to speed. Is that
but he's really good at it.
No,
he's really
Steve,
good at it.
You're pretty sharp, and I don't pick on him. He makes it easy. If you ask him how was work today, he can't answer you.
Well, maybe it's like James Bond or saying maybe his
you don't
job is so
understand.
secret.
I don't.
Chasing honeys is a 24/7 ordeal.
I took a vacation day today.
Well, I don't even know how he took Martin Luther King Day off because he is off. He didn't get home till 8:35 in the morning because whatever job he's doing at that hour is beyond my comprehension, and I just don't get it. But he sleeps at that time, so that's what happens. But yeah, so what can we do? I was just amazed with a lot of this football, and then I saw something I just alluded to before with Trevor Lawrence. How many young guys could fail badly in a half and come back? What kind of character does he have, and what type of strength and what kind of brain was he even thinking? Last year, they were saying he was a bust. But do you think coaches matter? I always think if a coach can't coach you up, it matters to me and the team. And that's what I see a lot in the NFL. Who would think Dallas could win last night with how they've been playing? You think McCarthy from Greenfield might have coached them up?
Good point.
Go ahead.
The psychology of the game is so important. That's like everybody's ranting about the Miami game.
Yeah.
Buffalo emotionally was not in that game. They were more into the gentleman that got hurt on
Damar,
the field.
yeah.
That's what they were thinking. That whole thing in the psychology of that, particularly when you're dealing with young men like that, they weren't ready to play. Now, hopefully they'll be ready to play next week.
And just to put it out there, like being at 66, I don't remember what it was like at 22, but I know it's not the same as being 66.
I think when we were 22, Roosevelt was president.
He was. That was his second term. That was his second term.
Second term.
Theodore?
Bada bing. Where's the gong show?
Hey.
All right, well, that's what's on my mind. We're going to go in 10 seconds, Fiction and Fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac.
ask the most knowledgeable guy in this room, Mike. What do you think of Dak Prescott? Average quarterback, above average quarterback, around there?
Slightly above average.
Slightly above average. That's what I thought. That's what I'm thinking too. Yesterday, Dak Prescott this season passed for 166 touchdowns. Troy Aikman, who I said don't belong in the Hall of Fame, has 165 career touchdown passes. Aikman has 141 career interceptions. Prescott got 40. Again, Troy Aikman has no business being in the Hall of Fame. You could say 3 Super Bowl rings, I'll give you that. But a Hall of Fame quarterback would have had 6 or 7 rings with that team. The AFC was so poor, all you had to do was make it to the Super Bowl and win. I watched Troy Aikman come out of high school as an 18-year-old kid and go to Oklahoma. They run the option. His poor decisions then. I watched him at UCLA. Not only did he not win the national championship, but he couldn't even go to the Rose Bowl. Rodney Peete beat him 2 years in a row for USC. Again, Troy Aikman's the only quarterback in NFL history, in modern-day history, with less than 200 touchdown passes in the Hall of Fame. Dak Prescott, and we all agree, Mike's the smartest sports guy here. He's an average quarterback. He's already gone past Aikman in touchdown passes, and he's thrown 4 times less interceptions than Troy Aikman. And that's your fiction. In fact, from Smoking Jim's Almanac, kick Aikman out of the Hall of Fame.
Just a minor disclaimer.
Kick him out!
How many
replace him
Super
with Hayward.
Bowls? How many Super Bowls did your legendary quarterback in Pittsburgh win, Ben Roethlisberger, with the teams he had with him?
He won 2, but he had to go again.
Okay.
He won 2.
Okay, he only won 2, and you're saying a guy that won 3 shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. You said Big Ben
Ben
should
got 500 touchdown passes. Aikman got less than Dak Prescott,
be.
who's only 29 years
Well,
old.
he has the second most comeback victories, too.
Dak
Big
Prescott?
No,
Or Big
Ben.
Ben?
Big Ben.
Yeah,
But no,
yeah, that's how you get in the Hall of Fame numbers.
that's why I said, how can you believe him when a guy that has 3 Super Bowls shouldn't be in?
I'm not saying.
Facts don't matter. Look at Tony Dungy, and then look at Bill Cowher.
Put Trent Dilfer in.
What about Bill
Trent
Cowher?
Dilfer.
Put Dilfer in.
Trent
I mean,
What about Bill Cowher?
He deserves it. Leader of men.
Where's the facts?
Leader of men.
Look at his time management.
I learned a lot from Bill.
Aikman played on some pretty bad Cowboys teams there
Who?
his first couple years.
Yeah, because of him.
but the key
Listen,
is,
if you get
He
sacked
traded
11
Herschel
times,
Walker
if
for
you
everybody.
get sacked 11 times in one game, which he did his rookie year by Philadelphia, you got a yellow streak running down the middle of your back.
but see, Aikman had something going for him more than anyone. The sports writers like him the best.
That
And
is
that's
true.
the biggest
That is
key
true.
in getting
Well,
in
that's
there.
a Hall of Fame
yeah.
thing.
It is.
Like Big Ben, why do you think he only won 1 MVP in Pittsburgh?
Because we had all black guys voting and they didn't like him.
There's an honest statement by Smoking Jim.
No disclaimer.
I always thought it was the off-the-field stuff that's probably going to
Well, that,
more pertinent.
don't bring that up to
Maybe
Smoking
that
Jim.
had something
No
to do with
disclaimer.
it.
That might have. I mean,
All right, Tony from Chick-fil-A said, Smoking Jim wearing a sport team, he has no clue on how it's played. John Gaspera, thanks for watching. Amy said, Smoking Jim, you on fire. He's always on fire.
My last baseball game, I went 8 for 8.
you
No,
had
you
8
didn't.
at-bats in a single game? What were you playing? Like men's
This
beer league
I thought for
softball?
years
Or-
I went
did
7
any
to
of you? Did any of you?
was
hear,
it a double header?
Steve? Did any of you follow politics with a guy named Santos?
Oh, the guy that
He
lied
had a
about his
resume
rank?
that
Yeah.
lied on everything, AKA Smoking Jim.
Who was the Notre
Frazier.
Dame coach who lied and got hired?
Oh,
and
that's
fired?
it.
O'Brien. Was it
O'Brien?
Brian?
No,
Yeah.
no, it wasn't O'Brien. It was the
That's
other
a-
one.
Could
Never
be
played.
senator.
No, Weiss.
No, it wasn't Charlie. It was the guy from Georgia Tech who went to
could be,
Notre
too.
Dame.
Oh yeah.
He
I
got
forget.
fired. I can't. Was it O'Brien or O'Leary or something?
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
O'Leary.
Yeah, I think it was like-
O'Leary,
yeah.
You know I love my Notre Dame. Me and Mike. We
You-
love our
he
Notre
does.
Dame.
He is a front runner, isn't he?
Thank you. Thank
Wait,
you.
who else did he like? The Yankees.
Oh, yeah, And
Whatever
then-
team Wayne Gretzky's playing for.
Ovechkin.
And that's it. Yeah, that's it.
All right, we're done. We're done with his segment. We went too far again, but he's on fire. Not truthful, but on fire. All right, let's go to the guns segment right now. 10 seconds.
Are we ready?
Yeah, we're up.
All
Guns.
right. Penguins.
Yeah.
Told you. You never know. You just
you knew
never
that was
know.
coming.
Thing with the Penguins, the third line, there's no hope for them. They'd probably be better off if they merged the fourth line with the third line. They're awful.
Oh, the fourth line's a black hole there. No
And
offense, Smoking Jim.
As far as a general manager, one of the things people don't think about is a lot of those players, they have no trade contracts. So whatever they need to do it internally. And I really don't know what they can do, but somebody's going to have to step up. Plus, too many penalties.
Yeah.
Gunser, I mean, just too many penalties. So let's shift it to what's going on now, NFL.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned Dallas. I've listened to Aaron Rodgers on the radio.
Okay.
It seems to me that Mike McCarthy's shining. Well, they kicked him out of Green Bay, and Aaron Rodgers looks like the clown now.
Sir.
He's done.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
I blame the
Exactly.
COVID vaccine.
The COVID would have messed up his head. Well, anyway, for everything that's been going on, I have to say I'm looking at the 49ers and the Chiefs to survive. That's what I think.
I second that emotion.
That's what I think. I think everybody else is going down the tubes. Although I will say I'm proud of the New York Giants. They're playing
they look
really
good. They look
well.
like a
Oh,
football
how about
team.
their coach? You talk about a guy coaching up a
You
team.
look like a bum.
There we go. Negative Smoking Jim
Don't
Frazier.
don't you agree?
No, he coached them up. I just said he coached them up to win.
Didn't Jones have like the best game he's had
Ever.
Yeah.
Incidentally, everyone should pray for that Dallas kicker. They say he's on suicide watch.
No, you know what? I got the message on my phone. They institutionalized him.
Did anybody have to over in the game? It
Well-
was a half a point away. If he'd have made one extra point, they'd have had to over.
Well, do you ever think they paid him?
Who knows?
They might have.
I believe sports are fixed.
We couldn't get everybody in this room to be honest in a situation like that. So how are we going to know? What's
Just
going on?
ask Smoking Jim his opinion.
Well, what people don't realize is the game before that he missed the last extra point. So
Yeah.
he missed 5 of them in a row.
Wow.
That's a record.
It is a record. It's an NFL.
4 was a record.
And to be on national television when you do it.
Because he only missed 3 all year.
But what's interesting the most is Mike McCarthy is a Pittsburgh guy, born and bred.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I know him. I know his family. And most people wouldn't even have let him on the plane. But yet here's McCarthy saying, well, we got to get him ready because Mike McCarthy knows what it's like to get kicked around like that. So
Yeah.
kudos to him for just being that kind of coach because everybody else is watching that too on that team.
I'm with you on that.
You know what
That's
I
great.
mean?
Plus Greenfield strong.
Because he had carried them all year, that kid, and he just, I don't know
Well,
whether
you know what Bill Belichick would have done.
Oh.
As soon as the plane landed, he'd have had 12 kickers trying out.
That's exactly right. But that speaks volumes because, in a situation like that, it's like everybody else is watching. We're all the guys that are tackles and running backs saying, if he's going to do him that way after he played great all year, what would he do to me?
But I lost respect for Dak
right.
Prescott for a couple of reasons.
How did this happen? He just was
No,
tooting
when
his
it-
horn.
Hey,
when
he's
the
not talking
kicker-
about Hayward. Let him go.
When the kicker missed
you.
when the kicker missed one of his kicks, Prescott threw his helmet down on the feet, on the sideline.
What
I thought
would
that was
you have
bush
done?
league. Huh? I went.
You
patted
don't
the
even
guy.
shake hands with guys you play
But my
against.
teammates.
What would you do with a teammate
My
that couldn't
teammate.
kick a?
Nobody would have saw what Jim would have did.
Hey,
Yeah, no witnesses.
hey, listen,
Right.
You don't see nobody black kicking, so it's something I can't do.
We have a
So
black
I'd have been-
punter.
Yeah, he can't kick. You won't trust him to put it through the uprights, would you?
He's a punter. Here, Chief come up with one. 35 years ago, Ernest Biner had the fumble. Today, Smoking Jim dropped the green pen. Chief, you're on fire.
There hasn't been anything like that since the Baltimore kicker missed the 1959 field goal to give the Giants the championship. That's how long it's been since anybody did that.
Wow.
And then he admitted 30 years later he missed it on purpose.
See, that's why we got guns
Can
here.
I give you guys a trivia question before we go to Steve?
Hey, we're not going to Steve.
When was the last time the Dallas Cowboys, because they play San Fran, and San Fran beat them last year, lost in the playoffs to back-to-back to the same team? And I know you're going to say the Dallas Cowboys, and that's not true.
I don't know.
What was the question?
I didn't know.
If Dallas lose to San Francisco, and I think Purdy will get them, it'll be the first time they lost back-to-back games to the same team since when? And most people think Green Bay Packers.
When was the last time they lost back-to-back to the same
team in the playoffs?
He's a sports memory guy. Come on. Little drum roll.
Was it the Steelers? No, it was the Steelers.
No, the Steelers close, though.
Was it
very
they
close?
Lost.
You are hot.
So it's an AFC team?
No,
they can't be in the Super Bowl.
NFC.
Like that has to be in the Super Bowl.
When he says you're close.
Oh, he got it!
I had to think about it.
69, Cleveland Browns, Leroy Kelly.
And Paul Warfield.
And Paul Warfield.
Wow, that's going
yes,
back.
guys got it.
Bill Nelson, number 16.
Oh, he looked it up.
I didn't look it up.
I'm only kidding.
Bill Nelson, number 16.
Yeah,
former
I used to like Bill
Steeler.
Nelson.
Former Steeler.
Yeah.
That's way back when.
Tony from Chick-fil-A has a question for me. Have you ever tried to set up an interview with local player Sean Casey? We did one better.
Yes,
we
sir.
did a show at his Miracle
sir.
League with
We
all
sure
his
did.
buddies and the handicapped kids.
Yes, sir.
And Tim organized it there, and he said Sean has to say he won't be there, but I would love to see an interview. Tim, his guy in charge of all this, said I'd love to see you and the mayor, Sean Casey, talk.
That'd be great.
So that's a future interview. They want us to come back again. Smoking Jim, Tim reached out to me that maybe we'll be on location up in Upper St. Clair at their field with the buddies. Check out the Miracle League if you can. What they do with handicapped children, running the bases, and they're handicapped. I interviewed 17 people at the field. I had a new record doing it, and they said, who will you interview? I said, everybody that you send up. They didn't stop for the whole hour. Smoking couldn't believe it, and he didn't get a word in edgewise.
Anything for the kids, I'm there.
Thank you. I remember the guy that said that. Appreciate it. Yeah, and Amy asked, who's playing the Super Bowl this year? Amy, you must have went out for a cup of coffee or a donut. Gunn said San Fran and Kansas City Chiefs. And I'll repeat it, San Fran, Kansas City Chiefs. So
Nobody's beating the Giants.
I think it's
I
Buffalo
think the Giants will
and
beat the Eagles. They better
Buffalo and the
better watch
49ers.
themselves.
I'm going with the Chris Berman pick.
No,
Buffalo and the 49ers. He always picks them
I
every
think
year.
Buffalo's just not ready. That kid getting hurt just messed up their
I'm
karma.
hoping they got that out of their system last week and they
was
get it back
clearly there
together.
The other day, it was clearly there.
Yeah. Well, that week they played New England. I said bet the house on Buffalo. They ain't losing that game.
Oh, there was no doubt.
Yeah.
There's just something magical about Frisco this year.
Yeah, Purdy.
Yeah,
well.
and that
I mean, when you
Disney's
literally
plus,
like
Plus, they have the real Boza.
the real.
They have the real Boza.
the other Boza.
The other Boza, forget him.
Well,
He
how about
throws
that
his
tight
helmet
end?
like
Well, how
Jim
can
Wood.
they give McCaffrey the best running back in football?
Yeah, and
away
then they
like
have
that?
the other two
I
running
don't
backs that are good
understand that
too. I mean, they're
Money.
in that offensive
Pepper probably
line.
didn't like him.
You could
No,
put
he
me or
didn't.
you behind that offensive line, and we're going to get 3 or 4 yards.
Well, Urkel slowed down a little bit. He may not make it, Urkel, my man Jim Urkel Frazier. All right, we got to pause for the cause, and the VIP did a 4.5-minute, you can check it out, segment. We're going to run it right now, and then we'll come back with me doing On Location. So please tune into this right now. VIP, put up your 4.5-minute segment. He told me a dozen times it's 4.5 minutes.
All right, it's VIP time. I want to make this brief. I want to get back to the other guys. Obviously, I'm not live right now. I'm back in the control room doing the directing for today's show, but I didn't want to miss this show and miss the opportunity to mention this because I walked into the office today and I realized that the first episode of Pittsburgh Sportsline I was on was January 14th, 2021. And that would make this episode of Pittsburgh Sportsline officially 2 years since I've been doing the show. I can't believe it's been 2 years. It's such a long time, and I'm still doing this show. I'm still a regular on this show, and I didn't want to miss the episode without having the opportunity to publicly thank Alan Levine, Jim Frazier, Chip Hayner, Jim Ellenbogen, anybody who's worked on a production of Pittsburgh Sportsline, who's pushed me to be my best self since I've been on this show. I just could not pass up the opportunity to thank all of these people and to thank you. And to thank you out there for watching, all of your positive comments and support that I've received and felt over these last couple years has been just, I'm so grateful for it. I'm so grateful for everybody's support as it's related to me on Sportsline, and then as it's related to my career in sports coverage and other sports media as I've continued to grow as a young sports professional. So thank you all out there, and I did not want to pass up the opportunity to thank all the people that have been a part of my growth since I've been on this show. And it's the 2 years part is still really throwing me through a loop. It's been that long. I'm just humbled to be a small part of the very large and honorable history that this show has. So thank you all. Thank you all. It's all the support has been greatly appreciated. I'll stick to a couple sports things as well, specifically in the NFL. A couple teams I want to mention. First one, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Don't count out Tom Brady. I know that they lost. I don't think he's going to retire, though. I think that this is just one of those situations where he'll come back even bigger and stronger, and that might just be me being unrealistically optimistic, but then again, it's Tom Brady. I struggle to doubt him and what he can do. Whether it's with the Buccaneers or whoever else wants to sign him, I don't know, but I'm not ready to count him out. I'm not ready to see him retired yet. I don't think he's ready to see himself retired either. So I don't think he's going to retire. Number two, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I said it last week, and I'm so happy they pulled off the comeback against the Chargers team that knows how to collapse. So thanks for the collapse, Chargers. Congratulations to the Jaguars. They are the underdog story. I still see them as a threat, and the fact that they were able to come back and not give up, that's something that you should take notice of. That team is young, and that team is moving steady. So they came back. I was even starting to doubt them a little bit on Saturday, but they came back and they won. And I'm happy about that because I thought they would, and the Chargers can continue to struggle as they do. Tough season for them. And then the Minnesota Vikings, just perpetual failure from that organization. I don't think they're winning anything with Kirk Cousins, and they proved it again by losing in the wild card round that they're not legit. I don't think Kirk Cousins is going to carry them anywhere or win anything with them. He's just good enough to be a quarterback that keeps your team standing, but he's not going to win a Super Bowl. It seems there's more evidence that piles up against him every year. It might be more motivation for him to succeed later on, but man, he struggles and just does not seem good enough, as do the Vikings. They just fall that much short, just a little bit short. It seems whenever they have a successful team, they just fall so very short. So that's my NFL. After Super Wildcard Weekend, my NFL analysis, my NFL perspective. And again, thank you. 2 years. 2 years of Sportsline for me, and who knows how many more years. But let's get back to the guys. For the rest of Pittsburgh Sportsline, this has been VIP time.
On location, Big Al. Amy said, congratulations, Nick. Chief said, congratulations, VIP. George Malerbo said, thank you. Amy said, congratulations, Nick, again. So thanks to all of you for watching us. We appreciate it. Smoking Jim Frazier is known as Wally Pip. He helped the new Lou Gehrig, Nick VIP Callis, start his career on Pittsburgh Sportsline. I remember that day like it's yesterday.
You know who's the new Wally Pipp?
No.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Good point. Steve, that's why you're on tonight. But I remember that day, Smoking Jim, like it was yesterday. A lady from the police department, we didn't even get her name, said, "Is Smoking Jim supposed to be here?" And me, being myself, I go, "He always is, but we never know when." And she goes, "He was in an accident," so I quit being funny and I said, "Is he okay?" She said, "His car's totaled. They called the EMT, and we'll give you details later, but he's going to miss the show." So I'm like, "Hey, Nick, I know Lanny Frateri's your professor and you're going for broadcast journalism. Can you fill in for Smoking Jim?" And I swear this is a verbatim quote. "What am I going to say?" And you know what I say? I go, "You've played sports, you've announced sports, you're going to school to talk about sports, so you're going to be on in about a minute." And he goes, "Okay." He had a deer in a headlight look. I was like, yes, he couldn't see a thing. And the progress he made from then to now is just unbelievable. He's one of the greatest young guys that I've had ever on my show in 11 years.
Yes, sir.
He's helped to change and make my show better. Like he asked me, here's another classic with Nick. We talk a lot. He's a good friend. And I don't care what age he is. I just treat him how he is. So he goes to me on the phone. He likes to ask questions. And I said, "You ask questions, I got answers." So he called up one time, out of the blue now. This isn't even how are you doing? He goes, "Al, what do you think of commercials?" And I don't pause. You know I'm pretty quick. I go, "I hate them." He goes, "Okay, thanks." So then he calls me back a day or two later. He goes, "Would you mind if we did graphics and did cut the commercials?" I said, "No, you know I hate them." He goes, "Well, Dave said if you agree to that." I said, "You already know in advance I'm going to agree to that." So he's asking questions like a lawyer where he knows the answer. So I go, "Yes, that's why we have the 10-second graphics."
Wow.
And it came up. So he's changed the show. He did my Pittsburgh Sportsline channel. You got to check it out. 808 shows. He edited all of them.
Wow.
I know it could have taken him 2 months, but it took 10 months, and I appreciate it. I paid him for it. He's thankful. He did a great job, and he continues today to do Facebook Live for us. We didn't know we could do it. We have something called a TriCaster, and we wanted to do Facebook Live, but because of Nick, exclusively VIP got us on Facebook Live. We're also on BPTV Facebook page, and we're on the Pittsburgh Sportsline channel. So go switch up right now. Go to that Pittsburgh Sportsline channel. On location, we got some time, so I'll bring that up. We got boxing at the Priory Hotel March 10th. The Irish are fighting the Pittsburgh guys. March 11th, we have boxing at Millvale Community Center with Jose Carabella and the Ray Schaefer Boxing. They're doing Golden Gloves. The 18th, we may get called back again for Golden Gloves again. Then we go to April Fool's Day at the Providence School in Troy Hill. We're going to be with Grandmaster Zhang and his Taekwondo kids. They're the only school in America that has Taekwondo, Smoking Jim, listen, on the curriculum.
Wow.
You know what that means? It's in their school.
Oh, yeah.
And Master Zhang is a teacher there. Wow. The only school in America.
Wow.
And these kids have learning disabilities and dyslexia, which Smoking Jim suffers from. And they're actually kicking boards and doing things that Smoking Jim couldn't even imagine. And they do dance routines. And I met one of the greatest students. I got a promoter. I forget her name, but she was there at the school for years. And Grandmaster Zhang said, "You got to interview her at our show because she's going to Yale University."
Wow.
Imagine how she couldn't read and do well in school. With Taekwondo, she gives it all the credit in the world. She's a double black belt master teacher herself, and she's at Yale. And I heard she did very well in her first year.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
these are the things that are happening. We also have boxing in April that we're going to be doing there. So We also have another show. We're going to be in Monsville, West Virginia on the 22nd. So check that stuff out. That's what On Location, and we're looking for a location, a bar or restaurant. If anybody can talk to a bar owner to give the Talking Machine a call, just contact me on Facebook. Even though I'm restricted, you can still get a hold of me. That's Facebook and their policies. Somebody hacked my account, Smoking Jim, and they took me off Facebook for a day and a half.
See, everybody wants to be you.
I understand. Not everybody can. I'll just share that with you. But no, that's what I have On Location. And we're going to do a special segment because we got Steve Wirt here to close it out with a segment, and then we may have a few minutes left. So what do you want to talk about that you haven't spoke about? You covered a few subjects.
That I have not spoke about.
Yeah.
Well, in the immortal words of Nick Callis, what am I going to talk about?
I salute you. Here's what I say. Answer.
Here's what I was thinking about. We were talking about how we didn't mention Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles.
No,
in the
we
playoffs.
weren't.
Mike was. He was. But what I think my problem is like I don't trust Jalen Hurts as a quarterback. And if you look at all the quarterbacks left in the playoffs, you got your Patrick Mahomes, your Josh Allen, and then you kind of got
Dak Prescott.
If Prescott plays like he is, Dallas can beat anybody. They really can if he can play like that. Now Daniel Jones, I don't think is on that level. He's kind of like a step better than maybe Kirk Cousins right now, which is insane.
Hey, Kurt's made all the money. I don't care what you say.
I'm sorry,
about
when you're
Cousins.
4th and 8 and you throw a pass for 3 yards, what kind of rinky-dink silliness is that?
Let me conquer money.
It's called Canadian football.
Well, they only have 2 downs.
But you know what's
3 downs to get
what's
10
interesting
yards.
about what you said, teams in the same division, they get to know each other from playing them a couple times. So the Eagles got to face the Giants, and then they got to face Dallas, 2 teams that know them well. And I think if they survive them games, they're going to be so beat up that when they run into the
Super Bowl, whoever
You pay a
Super Bowl.
price.
Yeah,
And
that's going to be 2 tough games to win too.
Right.
Like it's like they know, there's no secrets here. And in Dallas, I don't know about who was the other team that they would have to play. New York. I don't know. They're playing New York now. Can New York stop the run? Because that seems to be Philadelphia. If you can stop the run on Philadelphia, you got to have a chance.
It'll be like Gettysburg. They
I remember Gettysburg.
They may win, but they're going to take casualties.
They're going to take a price.
Right.
There's going to be a price.
And they'll never be the same.
Right.
Yeah.
But I have to put a disclaimer, not on you, but in general, that I don't know if it's just me, but most Pittsburgh people don't respect Philly teams, no matter what. Like I like Julius Erving when he played with Philly.
Sir. Yes, sir.
But I made a couple exceptions.
Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
Bill Russell was the only one.
Yeah, and I made a couple exceptions with it, but in general, we don't want to hear about Philly.
You don't want to hear about Philadelphia.
And they don't. And I know from a personal.
I like their attitude. I think it's just like they're like kind of like
Well, I want to
heck
give you
with you attitude there with Philadelphia. I kind of like that. And,
well, my sister lives in North Wildwood, New Jersey, and she has friends that are Philly fans. Mm-hmm. And she's from Pittsburgh, and they know it, and they're friends. And my sister wears Penguin gear, goes into the bar, and the one family they're friends with, a grandchild walks up and goes, "I hate you." Now, Smoking Jim met my sister Hope, one of the nicest, chip off the old block here people. Mm-hmm. And she goes, "How can you have your grandson do that?" And him and his wife go, "That's how we are. It's our teams or nothing."
Philadelphia.
That's Philadelphia,
Philadelphia.
And
Jim have you ever been to Philadelphia?
Yes.
And the best part about Philadelphia is the ruder you are there, the more they love you. And I can't stay there for too long because I'll just turn into a total idiot. So
I understand.
So you can only take Philadelphia in small doses.
I'm going to share a classic story. My sister and brother-in-law Gary moved there about 8 years ago. My son was working 2 men in a truck. They had me because they trust me to bring some stuff in my vehicle down there with them. And my sister goes, "Hey, Al, please behave yourself." And I go, "What do you mean?" She goes, "They're all Philadelphia people and they hate us." So I go, "Okay." So first thing comes in, somebody brings in a bed. And I go, "Hey, how you doing?" They go, "You're from Pittsburgh." I go, "Yeah, how are you?" And they started to get a little rough around the edges, and my sister goes, "Hey, Al, just, let it go." So I let it go. So I go, they settled down. They go, "You want to walk to the beach? It's right quarter mile away. I can walk that. Smoking Jim, we don't know if he's walking right or not, but we got to go to the beach. So I walk down, and I'm going there, and I see a lady with an Eagles football jersey, and she has a fishing rod stuck in the sand. So you know I got to say something, right? You all bet, because you know how I am. I have to say something, so I go, and my sister goes, Al, I know you're going to say something. I go, it'll be nice. I go, have you caught any fish? She's instantaneous to me. She goes, I hate you. You're from Pittsburgh.
Wow.
Just for asking about fish?
And I go,
They know the accent.
I never met you. And I go, you hate me, but who's your second string quarterback? She looked at me. She goes, I don't know. I go, you support Con Vic. And I walked away.
Oh, Michael Vick, huh?
Yes.
No, I know we're a sports show, but I can't help thinking about when we were talking about Smoking Jim maybe running for senator.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to give a shout out to a great sports guy, Treasurer John Weinstein, who loves sports.
Okay.
Who's running for chief executive, who's a great guy. Maybe he'll clean this mess up we call Allegheny County. So I wanted to shout out to him. He loves the show. He loves.
Well, shout out to John. We've paid for our animals and stuff for you, so we believe in licenses.
He does, and he's
How
like.
am I doing? I know he's a good guy because anybody that likes animals except Smoking Jim is a good person.
John Weinstein has raised more money for the animals in this county than anybody else.
Well, that's why I brought it out. I'm a fan.
But he does it from the heart. He doesn't brag about it. He don't talk about it. He's just that kind of guy. So shout out to you, John. Good luck in your race.
Thank you for that. We don't normally talk politics here, but, you know, you can sneak one in like that, especially a 50-year guy in politics in Pittsburgh. Guns Ellenbogen. Well, thanks all of you for watching our 808th show. Thanks for putting up with us. Thank you, Smoking Jim. Thank you, Guns. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Rowan. Hope you learned something.
I forgot to tell you look great today.
Take care of each other.
Thank you very much. You'll be back next week then for that. I'm easy like that. Please stay Joey strong.